United States Marine Special Operations Private First Class Jacob Miller. I was part of an off-the-books Black Ops mission in Kandahar, Afghanistan. And when I say off the books, I mean absolutely classified. Even the president doesn't know half the things that goes on here. One day, my team and I were deployed on a mission to apprehend a high-value target, codenamed the Witch of Kandahar. Our intel placed her in a heavily guarded cave within the vicinity. At 0700 hours, my team and I were dispatched to that location. It was a long ride, but upon arriving there, I couldn't shake the sickening feeling in the pit of my stomach. I knew something was very wrong. Suddenly, we were attacked by Afghan militiamen and a firefight broke out. It was a difficult battle, but we eventually subdued the Taliban soldiers. Their leader, Omar Jabbar Hassan, was killed during the firefight by my own bullet. We located the cave and advanced inside. That's when I saw a sight so chilling I almost threw up in my mouth. Inside the cave were piles of dead U.S Marine soldiers. Their cause of death was unknown, but I looked at one of them and I could have sworn I've seen that face before. But before I could get a good look, a woman stepped before us. She was dressed in clothes as black as the night. The only feature I could make out was her jade green eyes, which seemed to burrow right into our very souls. We ordered her to surrender, but she didn't say a word. She simply raised her hand, and one by one my platoon members unholstered their handguns and pressed it against their skulls and pulled the trigger. Before my very eyes, my brothers dropped to the ground like flies, and then finally, I could feel my fingers reaching for my sidearm and pushing the barrel against my skull. I could hear voices whispering in my ears, speaking to me, compelling me to squeeze the trigger. I heard the gun explode. I fell to the ground and my body went numb. And then I blanked out. Suddenly, I found myself on my bed in the barracks, my face drenched in hot sweat. It must have been a dream or a nightmare, to be precise. The mission, my dead platoon, the woman in the cave, none of it made sense. It never really happened. Or did it? Just then, one of my squad mates, Alan, walked into the barracks. "Come on, Miller, you're gonna be late for the briefing." Briefing? What briefing? I was still dazed and confused, but I put on my gear and stepped out into the corridor. At the far end of the hall was a room I've never been in before. I don't know what's in the room, but something about it just made my hair stand on end. A part of me wanted to go into that room and see what's inside, but I ignored it. I decided to attend the briefing where Captain Lucas DiMaggio was addressing the Marines. "Marines, our mission is to locate and identify the Witch of Kandahar and bring her back to base. Remember, this is what you signed up for. We are going to keep sending you out there until you finish the mission. Dismissed." As we geared up and made our way to the location, I couldn't shake the strong sense of deja vu that I felt. It's the same briefing, the same target, the same location as the one in my dream. Or was it? Was my dream some sort of premonition? A vision into the future? We arrived at the location. As I saw the cave entrance, I knew there was danger ahead. Something about it just didn't sit right. So I begged my commanding officer to take point and scout ahead. I reached the point where we were ambushed in the dream, and to my astonishment, I found the bodies of the Afghan militiamen who attacked us. Including their leader who I killed, there was no mistaking his face. My heart was pounding as I entered the cave, and just like before, I was greeted with the bodies of my falling squad mates. But then, amidst all the death and despair, I noticed something that made my blood curdle. Among the pile, I found my own body, pale and lifeless. That's me. What the hell? What is going on? I thought I was losing my mind. Suddenly, the woman emerged from the depths of the cave. She looked like a demon, and if she was, then I must be in purgatory. She raised her pale, bony fingers, and just like the last time, I could feel my hand moving of its own accord, reaching for my handgun. No, not this time! I made up my mind that if I was gonna die, then I'm taking the Witch of Kandahar with me. With the last ounce of my strength, I reached for my hand grenade. An explosion erupted, and I heard her heart-piercing scream just as I blanked out. Again, I woke up in my bed in the barracks. I felt like I had died and resurrected. What the hell is going on? Was that another dream? One of my squad mates, Alan, walked into the barracks. Come on, Miller, you're gonna be late for the briefing. I dressed up and headed out just like I did the last time, but I noticed the door at the end of the corridor was open, so I decided to walk through it. What I found next broke my mind. It was me, or at least clones of me, hundreds of them, and my squad mates placed in some kind of deep sleep. What is going on? Did I agree to this? Am I a clone? And if I am, how come I have the memories of my old self? Am I the real me? As my world crashed down around me, I couldn't help but wonder who the real demon was here.